Hello everyone, my name is Amira, and I'm from Morocco. I'm a part-time ESL teacher and, most importantly, a full-time mother to two wonderful children. Today, I want to talk about my journey of learning English and why it has become such an important part of my life. Growing up, I spoke Arabic at home and French at school. I loved learning languages. It was like unlocking new doors to different worlds. But for a long time, English was just something I admired from a distance. I thought it was too difficult, too different from what I already knew. That changed when I became a mother. Raising bilingual children in Arabic and French was already a challenge, but I wanted to give them even more opportunities. I wanted them to grow up with the ability to connect with the world, to dream bigger, and to express themselves in ways I never could as a child. And I realized that to guide them, I needed to learn English, too. At first, it was intimidating. I remember watching English videos with my kids and feeling frustrated because I couldn't understand everything. But then I thought, if my children can learn this language with an open mind, why can't I? So, I started small. I began by reading simple English storybooks with them. Books like Brown Bear, What Do You See? Were easy to follow and fun to read together. It was a way for us to learn as a family. They would ask me questions, and sometimes I didn't know the answers, but we would look them up together. It became a shared journey of discovery. As I grew more confident, I started focusing on improving my own English. I downloaded apps, joined online courses, and practiced with other teachers in my community. One of the biggest breakthroughs for me was realizing that making mistakes is okay. In fact, it's necessary. Just like my children stumble over new words, I had to remind myself that every mistake was a step toward improvement. Learning English has also transformed my work as a teacher. It's given me the ability to connect with students from different backgrounds and help them learn not just English but also confidence. I always tell my students, don't be afraid to speak. Your voice matters, even if it's not perfect. One of the books that inspired me as a teacher is The Joy of Teaching ESL by Elizabeth Clare. It's full of practical tips, but more importantly, it emphasizes the importance of empathy in teaching. I try to bring that same empathy into my own classroom, and even into my parenting. Another thing I've learned through English is the power of stories. I've discovered so many inspiring books, like Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai. It's a children's book, but its message about education and perseverance resonates deeply with me. It's also a wonderful way to introduce my kids to global issues in a way they can understand. One challenge I faced was speaking. I could read and write reasonably well, but speaking felt like climbing a mountain. I was afraid of sounding silly or not being understood. To overcome this, I started recording myself reading short passages out loud. I would listen back and try to improve. I also joined a conversation group for mothers learning English, where we practice speaking in a supportive environment. Now, I feel much more comfortable speaking English, and it's made a huge difference in my daily life. I can help my children with their schoolwork, communicate with their teachers, and even read bedtime stories in English. Recently, I read The Gruffalo to my youngest, and seeing her eyes light up as she understood the story was one of the proudest moments of my life. For me, learning English is not just about words and grammar, it's about connection. It's about connecting with my children, with my students, and with the wider world. It's about showing my kids that learning is a lifelong journey, and that it's never too late to start something new. To anyone out there learning English, I want to say this: be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories, like understanding a new word or finishing a sentence without hesitation. And don't compare yourself to others. Your journey is unique, and every step you take is progress. In my hand right now, I have this book called Goodnight Moon. It's a simple story, but it's one of the first books I read in English with my children. It reminds me that every little effort counts, and that learning something new is always worth it. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with learning English in the comments. Let's keep encouraging and inspiring each other.